Now it's working. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another day or week of NTEEP 2023. My name is Jessica Kings. NTEEP is a project by NomPro Technologies that seeks to identify and support innovative startups whose activities can create solutions and employment in Africa. So, with that, a big thank you to all our sponsors, Ubuntu Soft, Africa's Business, Ashwini Sons, and Eduzam, as No Pro Technologies. Before we move over to today's session, a few things we should take note of. You can use the chat box to ask your questions. Put in your question maybe before the speaker is done speaking. So immediately she's done, we can answer the questions. And then also, if you're putting in your question, please put in your name and the country you're typing or watching us from. Our speaker for today is Miss Osla from Austria, not Australia, but Austria. She's currently self employed with vast experience in the IT industry. She's also the founder and CEO of Ubuntu Soft EU. To read more about her biography, you can check out her profile at intep.nompro.com intep.nompro.com. This morning, she'll be taking us on the topic digital marketing tools. So, Miss Clark, good to have you, and over to you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me again. Today's topic will be digital marketing tools. All about it. Not really all about it, because as we can imagine, tools are being published nearly every day. There are new tools on the market. Others are maybe no longer in use. So it's a broad field of tools that change over time. Before questions might arise, the survey and the survey link will be published after the presentation. Okay, so let's dive into our topic. What kind of tools are you going to need and to use when you are dealing with digital marketing? So first of all, you definitely will have to look for a project management software. And there are, of course, probably hundreds of those on the market. I picked three that are the more used ones, the more known ones. One that you might have heard about is Asana. Asana comes with a free version, a so-called basic plan. So you can start, check out whether you like their features, and later you can see they would have a premium plan that starts at 13.49 euro, billed monthly. They always also have, or most of the software programs also have a yearly payment plan where you might save up usually up to 2 months of rates of payments per year. So that might be interesting if you can afford to pay once a yearly fee. So another one is ClickUp. That is fairly new. It's a free tool. Also, and already around a while for a longer time, is Trello. And Trello is what I'm personally using because it's actually a really, really fantastic tool for all kinds of things. So not only for project planning, to-do lists, whether you are organizing a birthday party, so you can use this for nearly everything. It comes with boards, so we can see a graphic that shows one board with several lists. So the lists here are the to-do, the doing, and the done list, which would represent a simple form of task list in this case. And then we see these white areas. These are cards. Cards can have pictures, cards can have attachments, they can have checklists, normal text like comments or descriptions. People can be added if you are working with a team. People can add it to several of these cards, meaning it's their responsibility to do whatever the task is representing. So we see we can have this tool for our project management, for brainstorming. You can use it in meetings to just put in all the information that gets to be talked about in the meeting. Task management, I said already. It comes with a free version that is already full of features. But if you have a look at the more advanced, more sophisticated versions of Trello, you will probably find it very helpful to have the premium or at least the standard version, because it comes with even more features. You can have more add-ons that you can, with that add-ons, you can even extend the functionality of Trello. So this is very nice. What I would like to show you here is not necessarily something that I'm now starting from scratch. There is a great video about it on YouTube. I put the link here. You should definitely listen to it. I'm gonna play the video for now, but without sound. So we just want to see what is possible. In this case, it's about a food truck that has to be organized, and it's about a team that is working with it. So let's check out this video. It's only two minutes, so it should not be too long. But I think you might get an idea of what Trello actually can do. So as I said, it's about a food truck organization. So they create a board first, then start with inviting people to the board, people that will have responsibilities for several tasks for the food truck project. Then they start with adding lists. So we see a to-do list, a doing list, a done list. That is, as I said, the normal kind of things, but lists could be different. And then tasks are added. And then you can have a description. That is now the content of one card. You can have comments. You can see what other people are commenting to these cards when you actually inform Trello that you are interested in changes on these cards or even on these lists, by just saying you want to watch this card or this list. As you could see right now, you can just move cards from one list to the next. So it's very easy to not only have checklists that you can check, you can very easily tell the team that something is a task that you are now working on, or even already a task that you now already finished. And so you can always see exactly where you are, what things still have to be done, and what else is already finished. So Trello also has a mobile app, which makes it very convenient to work on these cards and lists and boards while you're on the go. And it's very easy to work with. And as I said, even their normal free version, so their first plan, so to say, is already full of features. So this is something that I definitely would suggest to try out and use if you are not already using it. So that's project management. When that is important because we are talking about digital marketing. So you might want to have a plan for your posts, maybe your social media posts, for instance. So a project management software is the first thing that you need. The second thing, even before going into specific areas of digital marketing, will definitely be a graphic tool, because graphics are everywhere. Not only in social media, you will just graphics is common nowadays. And you might know the three programs that I put on the list here. Maybe you've heard about those, or maybe you are even using one of those. There is Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop. It's the maybe most famous product that is dealing with graphics. Is very, very rich in features. It's a bit expensive. And also, of course, it takes a while to learn because it is able to do so many things. So the learning curve is quite something. If you don't have that kind of budget, you might look onto GIMP. GIMP is open source, so meaning the software is free. GIMP is, regarding the features, quite similar to Photoshop. So you really can, I would say, do the same things as in Photoshop for free. So actually, it's also a program that where you will have to take some time to learn what kind of features you might want to use. In every case, don't forget to always check out YouTube. There are a lot of tutorials for all kinds of programs, how to do several things. So if you don't want to start reading tutorials, just try to find an explanation for what you want to do on YouTube. And then there's Canva. Canva is just amazing. I don't even know how we were living without it before, because with Canva, that comes with a free version and then a pro version that is available for €11.99 monthly. It's just full of features, and they are adding more and more and more. And while I was using GIMP for nearly everything, like until maybe 2 years ago, I would say, it's I can see that I'm switching to Canva for more and more things. There are only very, very few options that they might not yet have, where I would still go to GIMP. But it's just amazing, and it's easy to learn. It's like a drag and drop tool that is just fantastic. They also come with an awful lot of templates in all kinds of areas. So we can see they have the option for whiteboard templates. You can create your logo with it. You can even create videos, presentations, like the presentation that you can see right now, infographics, all kinds, of course, of social media graphics, so like Facebook graphics, Instagram graphics, Instagram stories. You can even design T-shirts and have them printed from here. So it's endless. And as I said, they are adding more and more. And this is just so when you want to design something, you just, for instance, grab one of these templates that might inspire you, and then you just go and change all kinds of things that you want to see. So really, really easy, and you will need it for everything that you actually are doing in digital marketing. The next thing that you might want to look into and now we are more into digital marketing itself. So because Canva and the project management tools you can use for other things as well, of course, is the so-called funnel planning. So if you have a way that you designed where you want to get customers in, or potential customers, leads interested in something, then you might come up with a so-called funnel that we've heard already about. So it's about what are you offering an interested potential customer for free, maybe like an ebook, a checklist, something like that. And when the customer now wants to download this, let's say, ebook, what's going to happen then? So the steps, the person would have to fill in a little form telling us their name, telling us their email address, and then what happens after that. So, for instance, the email address gets put into an email list program, and then an email is going to be sent to the interested potential customer with the download link for the ebook. And then it might even go on. They might get another email a few days later asking them how they liked the ebook and so on. So this is kind of what you were planning, what would happen from the moment a customer, an interested potential customer, might want to download your ebook, until they might be even considering buying from you, working with you, depending on what you're doing. So for funnel planning, this is the more graphical part of it. So not the functionality part, the graphical part. We have several tools that we could use. That is Funnelytics, Miro, and for instance Lucidchart, which are programs that you can use for maybe other things as well. But for funnel planning, it's very interesting to use them, and we will see an example in a second. And then there is the more feature part of programs. So when it's about to set up the funnel and to automate what's going to happen, because this is, of course, everything, every step that we were talking about right now is, of course, automated. And there are programs like ConvertKit and Deadline Funnel to implement the steps that you want to see from the moment someone is seeing an ebook and wants to download the ebook. So this is now an example in Miro. So you can see there are several options. This is something that you offer. What will happen afterwards? What will happen then afterwards? So thank you pages, more emails that get sent to this interested potential customer, and so on. So this can go on and on and on. And it might be important that it goes on and on and on. That's something we are talking about a bit later today. So this is the planning stage. You define what is it that you want to happen. And if you have more than one offer for the customer, if you do not only have one ebook or one checklist, then you might have to consider these steps for all of these free offers, or freebies, as we heard the name already before. So then the next thing, and we were already touching it a bit, is email marketing. For email marketing, again, we have programs popping up nearly monthly on the market. And it's getting a bit complicated to even compare these programs. So if before you decide for a program, most of them have free versions, so you normally can just log in, register with them, check out how to work with the program, whether it's even offering all the functionality that you would like to see. And then most of them with a free plan, you normally are able to start. So if you don't already have a list of 10,000 of members, then you can normally start with the free version and then just upgrade. And you would have to really check whether you like to work with the program, because they are very, very different. And that also has to do with the amount of functionality they have. Because if we think about a program like GetResponse, that has been around really for a while. So they are full of features, and they also are adding new features. So it's a lot actually what you would have to learn. Other programs try to be more simpler to use, and you might even like that more, but maybe they are then lacking one or the other option that you would also like to use actually. So if we are looking for into one of the examples, like for instance, GetResponse, this email autoresponder program, as it's also called, of course, also comes with a lot of templates, so that you can start. We can see here, these are templates if you want to have a newsletter that you want to send out to your list of people that you already gathered. Then you can choose one of these templates and just change things that might be different, that you want to have different, like colors or text or whatever. Or you also can do these things, of course, from scratch. So if you want something completely different, then start your newsletter from scratch. To like a front end tool, so that you then later can send these emails and newsletters, are these forms. So for instance, GetResponse also offers forms, nice forms, as you can see. For instance, pop-up forms. Not necessarily, they also have other forms that are just included into your website, for instance. And that's where you can put your offer. So your ebook, we were saying we are having an ebook. You can have a pop-up form that shows your ebook, talks about your ebook, and then gives you the option to either put in your name and email address, or just email address, depending on whether you want to be able to talk to people at least with their first name. So then you would ask them at least for a first name, or whether you are sending out newsletters, maybe just saying "Dear customers," which is not the normal case, but of course you could definitely do it. So where do you put these forms, and where do you put the ebook? Of course, you put this onto your website. And we already heard when we were talking about the first chapters of the digital marketing, when we had our other presentations, we heard about all kinds of posts that we are putting onto Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and so on. But the most important, kind of like your home for your company, definitely is your website. Because with all the posts we heard about backlinking, so you are backlinking to your website. With all the free offers that you have, you would definitely have them on your website. So that is kind of like your home, and then from there you have all the other channels that you're also using. But the website should be your home. Don't neglect it. Don't rely on your, for instance, social media channel. You might have a great Facebook page or even YouTube channel, whatever it is that you are using. Yeah, you never know when this company, and they are private companies, might be closing it down. And if your content and if your fans, followers, customers are only in on that channel then, and you don't have an email address where you still can contact them, they are gone. And that happened to people. It's not only about, for instance, Facebook changing algorithms again. It's about Facebook suddenly doesn't want someone posting about whatever kind of topic. Yeah, so we've seen they have taken down not only posts, they have closed accounts, and even if it's just for a while and you are able to regain access to your account, it's a damage of your reputation. Yeah, so please, with all the channels that you are using, and that is fine and it's working well and you can put ads there, that is perfect, but don't neglect having a website as your home base, kind of. Yeah, your website will be there when Facebook is gone, when Instagram is gone, and so on. And we have seen programs that no one is talking again. This Second World, that was a program long ago. No one is talking about it now because it's no longer around. So that's very important. Back to our newsletter. If you are using an autoresponder program like ConvertKit or like GetResponse, then you chose your newsletter layout, you chose your text and so on. Then you can send it, and we see it looks very nice. You definitely know this kind of emails. You are probably also getting some. They do have one disadvantage that you might want to ignore. That's totally fine. Or you might want to think about it. The disadvantage is, if you look here on top, I don't know whether you can really read it. It's very small. It says here the email comes from Africa's business. That's what I used for the test. And then it says via, and then there is something else. Yeah, and that depends on which autoresponder program you're actually using. So in this case, it says that is GetResponse. It says inforeply.com. Yeah. So why is this a disadvantage? That depends on your customers. Many customers might not even realize it, but there are some that are now saying, okay, so this is actually a mass email. That's a newsletter that did not just come to me, that was not just sent to me, even if it says somewhere, Dear Ursula, and then the text goes on, they know that this is actually mass communication, probably promotional information, and people tend to not read it so much as they might have read it before. So this is like a promotion, and they might even delete it. Yeah? Some, not all, of course. So it's definitely fine to still use it, but you might consider, you might think about it. Yeah, you might consider being, and that's also dependent on the amount of people that you want to send emails to, but normally you might look also for alternatives, maybe just for a part of your newsletter list entries, so members. And there is a program that would be available for doing that is called Mail Meteor. So one of those. Yeah. They come with a free plan. Premium starts at €24.99 monthly. And what are they doing? They are actually writing out emails that can also have pictures and so on, and attachments and links and so on. They are writing these emails really from your email address without this via something. They are kind of in your inbox, especially we are here talking about Gmail and Google Workspace, so the business version of Gmail. And you can add it and link it to this, and then the email is completely like a private email. Yeah, it can still contain the same kind of information, but the recipient might consider this email as of just being sent to him or her personally. And therefore, people tend to read it more. So that is the thought behind it. That's the idea behind it. Yeah. So what Mail Meteor is doing can actually, if you know how to write an apps script that is like a JavaScript for this Google Workspace, you can actually do it yourself. It's just like you need one spreadsheet, which is like an Excel, so like a spreadsheet where you put in names and email addresses, and then you have this apps script, so this program that sends emails to everyone that is in that spreadsheet, that is listed in that spreadsheet. Or you use the program that does it for you automatically. So both is possible. We see an example of it here. So this would be the spreadsheet containing your customers. And here you would have a new campaign, like a newsletter and so on. You see it's like a text editor, and you can have like dear and then the first name. If you have this column in the spreadsheet, then you can of course use it here in this campaign with attachments and so on, with tracking, whether emails got opened and so on. You can use various recipient lists. You see you can import a CSV file. You can import your contacts from, as we said, a Google Sheet, so that's a spreadsheet. You can use a contact list, or you can also manually add email addresses. So if it's an email that will only be sent to a few people, then that might be an option. If you are looking into sending emails from your business Gmail account, please be aware that from a free Gmail account, you can only send up to 500 emails per day. Whereas when you have the paid Google Workspace account, where your email address looks much more professional because it's no longer mycompany@gmail.com, it's manager or Ursula at mycompany.com, then you can even send up to 2,000 emails per day. And when you are starting with sending out newsletters, two tips. One is you might want to warm up your list if you haven't texted them for a while. So don't start with a promotional newsletter or email. And the second tip is also for what Google is checking for. Don't start with sending 2,000 emails a day as your first email campaign. Start with sending 300 first, and then finally start increasing it. Okay. And now we have been talking about email for quite a while, and the reason is, and this is what you can find all over the internet, is the opening rate. So what is the organic reach in different channels? We see that, for instance, quite a good average reach rate is the one on Instagram. So we see that if you post something on Instagram, 13.51% are really seeing it, getting it presented, kind of. Whereas when you look at the numbers of Facebook, and even Instagram, you can see there's a decrease of that. Yes, and Facebook has had this decrease already a while ago. So they are down at 8.6%. So that means, consider you have 1,000 followers, 8 0.6%, 86 people are reached out of these 1,000 followers that you have and will see your post. And this is actually, I would say it's sad. No, not sad, because we know Facebook offers you paid ads that are great for targeting specific groups of people. Therefore, they are reducing the organic reach a lot. Instagram, 13%, 51 out of 1,000 followers, 135 people are being reached by what you are posting. Yeah? And then when we're looking at email, and so many marketers are trying to let you know that email is dead, but these are current numbers, and the dead email marketing kind of is having an organic reach of 21.33%. So when you compare these two social media channels with email marketing, you can see that email regarding organic reach is king. That does not mean forget about Facebook or Instagram, because they have other advantages. Yeah. Posts are there longer, they can go viral, they have a life of their own kind of thing. Yeah. So don't neglect it, but don't expect a post to be seen by all of your 1,000 followers. That's what I'm trying to say. And another point that is very important, and shows an advantage of email marketing, so don't neglect email marketing in addition to your social media marketing, is the so-called value of nurture process. That's of a Microsoft study that shows that when you have a prospect and you contact the prospect first, and the prospect doesn't say, okay, yes, I'm interested immediately, then it says 50% of salespeople normally they give up. So if the prospect doesn't say yes immediately, they are gone. Then when you contact them a second time and they still don't say yes, 65% of salespeople no longer follow up. There are some that follow up a third time, but after that, 79% actually are like, okay, I tried it 3 times, forget it. And you can see that is an average number of contacts that a prospect might need until he or she finally decides to become a customer. So we are talking about on average 12 contacts. And honestly, we see 89% are gone after 4 contacts. And how can you go on and follow on? Because it's not possible that you call all these people again and again and again when you have hundreds of prospects. So that is something that you can really nicely do with an autoresponder program, whichever one you actually use, and send again and again in not every day, but after a week again, then after 3 weeks again, then after 2 months again, send emails so that they get reminded of you and your services. And then when they are ready, they might come to you and buy from you. And therefore an email responder, email marketing is very, very useful. Then we have social media, and we have to come to an end very soon. Social media marketing, when you want to organize your posts so that you don't have to post everything manually, you can use programs. Most of those also have free versions. And also try which one you like best for your own publishing. I took as an example Buffer, and Buffer would just let you kind of queue all the posts that you already prepared for posting, and let you have a calendar where these posts then would actually get published at that specific time. So very, very convenient, because you can do it up front for quite a while, as long as you actually prepared your posts. Then we do have video marketing also, and the example that I put in here is the one video program that we are now using that is being used to stream live to YouTube. But of course, there are other programs, and we know for some things you can just first record your video with your phone and then just upload it to several channels. That depends on how you're gonna use it, how you want to use it. But live videos like this one now, they are being said to be very, very interesting for customers, and they are liked by customers. They like to watch videos that are live. Finally, at the end of all your effort with email, social media, video marketing, and so on, and there are even more, we would have to know whether our efforts were worth the time. And that's being done by Google Analytics or not. Meaning, Google Analytics is a great tool. It's fine to use it if you have American, Canadian customers. You would definitely have to dive into this program because it has so many features that it's again something that you are probably not gonna learn from one day to the next, but you can get an awesome insight into all kinds of data that you might be interested in. But why did I say only for US and Canadian customers, probably, maybe Australian, New Zealand, and so on? Because we do have the EU, and if you actually are trying to also market to EU customers, they have this since 2018. They have this wonderful GDPR where it's about data privacy and what you're allowed to do with data and what you are not allowed to do with data of a customer. And therefore, if you are actually looking onto the European market, please don't use Google Analytics. We already have lawyers that are checking websites, seeing whether they are using Google Analytics. So it's not even any longer allowed to just have a disclaimer on your website saying, if you are on my website, be aware I am using Google Analytics, and if you don't like it, please go away. No, they are still sending you letters asking you for money. So just avoid Google Analytics for the European market and use another one that is called Matomo. And that is an alternative, which, as we can see on the website, it already states it protects your data and your customers' privacy. So you are good to go in Europe with Matomo. And to end the whole digital marketing tools and our efforts, of course, it's also always important to know what is the competitor doing. And therefore, there are tools like, for instance, Social Insider, where you can put in, for instance, the Facebook profile of a company that you're interested in because it might be your competition. And then they are showing you how their stats are. They even would show you what kind of posts were doing very well. And you can, of course, not copy, but you can get an information, you can get an idea of what might also work with your own company. So don't forget to check out the competition because that's something that is part of the whole digital marketing effort. Yeah, so a bit late, 4 minutes late, but I'm at the end of my presentation. I hope you got to learn some new tools, some new information that is maybe was not that you were not aware of so far. And over to Jessica, and I'm happy to answer questions if there are.
Thank you so much, Ms. Osler, for the wonderful presentation.
Okay.
Our first question for today is from Tabar, and the question is: some websites are sending automatic messages requesting for various support. Is that part of the newsletter or something different? If it's something different, which tool is that?
They are sending out messages for support. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
For support. I don't exactly know now what that could mean, but normally, more or less everything that you're sending out from I mean, you could have different programs, but normally it could be. Is that something after the customer gave us his email address, or is that just when they visit the website? That might have to be clarified. If we have the email address, then I could imagine it's an autoresponder. If it's just visiting the website, I mean, I know of pop-ups that might show me something, but I've never heard of something that got sent to me. And what is it even that like got sent to me if they don't have my email address yet? How would they do it? Maybe we can clarify a bit more what that could be, what kind of support is being asked for.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Osla. I'm not currently seeing any more questions. So if you have a question, please quickly type it up and send it to us. I see someone asking about the survey link. It will be available after today's session. So just come back to the same video or the description box, and then the survey will be there. Before us wait for more questions, we have on stage Mr. AJ Smart. Thank you for joining in today.
Thank you, JC. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's always good to be here every day, knowing that we are here to learn. Interestingly, I actually was working on the Matomo before we started discussing this when we started separating our EU website from the general um, Africa and North America website. So it's been again another great opportunity to have resources like again to learn more, have more insight on some of these things. I always say one of the reasons I enjoy having her around is because you get to learn more and more, especially coming from a continent where most of our, especially policies, are actually the same with the EU. Recently, if you look at it, then you realize that it becomes very easy to stay safe when you are able to abide by some of these digital laws. So that has been quite another insightful training. I really learned as usual. My notepad is open, and I was actually working as she was the things I needed to adjust. I was already working on them on my dashboard actually. So, uh, Mrs. Osler, thank you very much once again, and I believe others also must have learned a lot again today. So, thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you, Mr. AJ Smart. Mr. Tarabo just clarified that he's asking about financial support, which means, should I take it again?
Yes, please.
Okay, the question was some websites are sending automatic messages for requesting for financial support. Is that part of the newsletter or something different? If it's something else, which tool is that?
Okay, so financial support. I've never seen this before, I have to admit. Um, Sending out, does that mean they are showing it on their website? But then it would be just like a pop-up that we can find in autoresponder programs. Or are they sending it out, as I said, to the email address of visitors that tried to download something and left their email address with the company? then it's definitely an autoresponder program. I couldn't think of any other way for now. Maybe Mr. AJ would be able to think about something like that or has
I,
seen
I'm
it
not
before.
I'm not sure really what. First of all, let's get a few things clear. Um, the fact that you have access to digital tools does not mean we do not assume that anyone here is here to learn about this to abuse them. Okay, so I'm trying to understand your question from if people have been sending messages to you soliciting for funds. Usually, these are messages that are sent by spammers, scammers. Yes, uh, I definitely have seen a few of those, but usually they don't end on my inbox because I keep my inbox very tidy, and so most people these days keep their inbox clean. So if you are looking for a tool to send a message soliciting for funds, in the first place, Google or any of the server is going to flag them as soon as they see the first two headlines or there are certain keywords that uh, the robots actually already flag them in advance. And that is why there is one popular email marketing automation software. Actually, I'm glad that Joshua didn't mention it at all today. That used to be one of the most commonly used tool. However, because it allows people to abuse it, then most of people still use it. However, the emails you send don't end up in inbox. And the idea of sending out newsletter is because you want people or the target audience to read them. Okay. So you don't want to end up have emails like you want to send 50 people email asking them to help you. I don't know. If you have a problem, you will probably want to look at your relatives, you want to look at friends, you want to even check out your mosque, your church. You need to look first within. I'm sure you will definitely always get help. If it is business related help, you definitely want to look at some of the investment opportunities we already revealed to you. As an entrepreneur, that is what I would expect. But do people send certain emails soliciting for funds and all that? Yes, I do receive such. Before I do, until now, I no longer because I've blocked using keywords. And who are those people who send those emails? They are scammers. You are not one of them. So I wouldn't think of why would you even need to send emails soliciting for funds. But if you are an NGO who, because I'm trying to balance response, I'm trying to relate to his question. If you're an NGO, uh, when you want to send emails, then I would recommend you send your proposal individual. If you are soliciting for any form of your proposing, I do not recommend sending bulk unless it's a follow up. If it's an NGO, because what happened is the robbers actually paid attention to people who, as long as they are soliciting for funds in whatever you are doing, if it is not a project or service or product, if it is fund you are soliciting for, then you want to probably really make sure you avoid using certain software that you are just sending people bulk messages asking them to help you. If it's proposals, then yes. But the thing is, like the speaker already said today, you don't just send anybody emails, okay? The people have to have interest. That is why it's called you build email list. I'm glad that what I see these days, what happened to this email software is they actually paid a close attention to your content these days. Most of the people I worked with last week, it's interesting that we're having this conversation today because one of them was willing to pay me any amount, just an email software that will work without like listing him. But it was not possible because the thing is, if your content is not genuine, forget about using email software. It's not going to work for you. Like, gone are those days. These days, that's what I keep telling people in those days. I say the internet has continued to evolve. And as long as people have now become social, especially on the net, then there is more attention as to how people use them because people's emotions are being put into consideration, people's behaviors, people's values, and all these things are being put into consideration. So, in a nutshell, you can use the software to do what the speaker has already told you to use it for. But to use it to solicit for funds, I wouldn't recommend, and I'm not sure the speaker will even recommend that if that is what you are asking. But if you are asking, saying you are an NGO, can you use that to send proposal? I still wouldn't recommend it because honestly, you want to send proposals individually and you don't want to send bulk proposals because it's not the same proposal. Each proposal should be tailored to, targeting and aligning with the part of the SDGs challenges that a specific NGO is trying to address, and you have to align your vision with their own. So then, at the end of the day, you still cannot balk. So this would probably I would just advise that use it to actually do what the speaker has already advised us to do for the purpose of newsletter, promotions, and all the things he has told us to do. But as for soliciting for funds, the answer for me would be Latin capital no. Over to you.
Thank you very much. We cannot hear you.
Thank you. From Neymar, the question: what are the major now?
Yes, yes.
Another question from Neymar. The question is of a website.
The website is the center of it all. So the website is where you have your vision, your mission of your company, your portfolio, your testimonials. It's where everything, your blog, where you have your posts that might have been published on several social media channels. It's a hub of everything that concerns your company. That's where the autoresponder program is installed. That's where you want to lead people to, even if they are not on social media, because they are still people, busy company owners, for instance, that might not find so much time to check out other offers on social media, so they might never see your ad. But if your SEO is great, as we heard in the training about it, they might just come directly to your website. So it's the central piece of your marketing effort, I would say. So I know many, for instance, freelancers are not necessarily having a website. They try to just have a LinkedIn profile, just be on Facebook, just be on whatever TikTok. I think they might regret it one day. So I would recommend anyone, freelancers, the smallest solopreneur company, and then of course if you're a bigger company, but normally bigger companies, they tend to have a website anyway. So have your website. It's your address in the internet. It's like your house, your address. Yeah. So whenever someone wants to find you, whether they are looking through the ERPs of Google also, or whether they are looking onto Google My Business, that should lead to your address. And I'm not talking about physical address, I'm talking about domain, your domain name, where they can find everything about you, and then they can see you are also on Instagram, you are also on Facebook, um, and that's fine. I hope that answered the question.
I believe so. Thank you so much, Ms. Osla. A wonderful presentation, and then for the answer today. It's honestly a privilege hearing from you.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Okay. Thank you to each and everyone for joining us again today at NTEP. We'll be also having a session tomorrow, so please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would urge you to subscribe now so that you can receive notifications anytime we are uploading, and also click on the notification bell. Appreciated. We posted after today's session, so you can come back in maybe the end of the session to check out this. Mr. AJ, would you like to have any?
I think we lost Jessica. Uh, I'm not sure where she stopped, but okay, Jessica, yeah, we lost you for a moment.
Yes, sorry. So I'm not sure where the
All
connection
right.
stopped. But
I think from me, I would just drop my first word, wishing you all a great day. It's a Monday. For those of you who are in Nigeria, we wish you well as you all go out to elect a new president this week. Wish you all best. Um, and then, of course, don't forget to stay safe. For the rest of the great African entrepreneurs, we want to wish you all the best. As you go about your businesses, remember that above everything else, we are providing solutions to for or to the greater good of this continent and our next generation. So as you go about providing solutions, go well, and we hope to see you tomorrow same time. Have a great day. Over to you, Jessica.
thank you, Mr. AJ. Miss Osla, do you have any first words?
First words. No, I'm grateful that you were having me again, and I'm looking forward to the next presentations. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much,
Over to you.
Ms. Osla and Mr. AJ, for being with us today. And thank you once again to each and every one of you for joining in. We hope to see you again, same time, same place tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and bye from us at Intep.